Hi, and welcome to the Changing Perspectives podcast, the show where we discuss a variety of topics, including grief, parenting, relationships, mental health, and pop culture. Join us and explore a number of changing perspectives. We're your hosts, Jenni and Josh Brennan. Hi, Jenni.
Hello.
What's going on?
Nothing.
What's happening on your phone? Something exciting?
There's a change in plans with one of our children. This is why I said we have to leave our phones on during recording today. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we wanted to live stream this, but our children are out and about, so we needed to be available to shut off and pause, so really couldn't live stream. But we will come at you guys soon with another live stream video, live recording of the podcast. Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 77. We are back with you, coming at you guys today with a pop culture episode topic. Something lighter, because our last episode was kind of heavy, a little on the heavy side.
I'd say the last two, right?
Yeah,
we did depression, and then we did, or before that we did Dak and Skip, and then before that we did Gila, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah. A
little on the lighter side today.
Yeah, okay.
But first, we wanted to remind everybody to sign up for the newsletter, changingperspectivesonline.com. If you haven't done so already, go check that out. Jenni sends out a monthly newsletter, and you get to have a little treat each week on Wednesdays.
So if you sign up this week, you will get Wednesday Wisdom.
Yes.
And then the next day, you will get the newsletter.
Wow.
If I get my act together and start both of those.
Actually do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want to say the last Wednesday Wisdom was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like the pieces that I write and the things that I do that are like vulnerable and honest are the things that resonate the most with people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not that people like them, but that I guess they're most meaningful to people.
They're most impactful.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. I think that's true of sort of art and creativity in general, right?
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah.
What is that quote from The Office when during Pam's art show? And
it is your birthday.
No,
sorry. That's just
a different episode.
That's because that's what you want for your birthday.
I do want that. My birthday's coming up. So, no, that episode where Pam's in the art show and she walks behind Oscar and Gil is like being really mean about Pam's art and says, real art takes courage and something else.
I think he says bravery, maybe.
Bravery. Mm-hmm. And Oscar says, well, those aren't Pam's strong suits. So sad, but funny.
But also a changing point for Pam.
Yes.
I know we're not actually talking about The Office today, but...
Right. But we are talking TV, so that works, sort of, one of our favorites. But real quick, hey, you all just missed a sale on the Changing Perspectives merchandise shop.
Why are you being a disc jockey?
I don't know. I put on my disc jockey
I don't like it.
today.
Can you stop?
I don't know.
Take the hat off and burn it.
I don't have a hat on. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, I'm with you. I'm a little slow in the uptake today.
And every day.
That's funny. We just had a 15% sale that ended, I think, yesterday. But be on the lookout. We just released a bunch of new items, which are really cool.
I'm also currently in the moment, designing a new one.
Oh, nice.
We don't have any football ones.
Oh, we should do football.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. We have some Halloween-inspired stuff, fall-inspired stuff, Christmas holidays-inspired stuff, as well as our normal Changing Perspectives gear as well.
And like coffee lovers and pet lovers and just some like motivational, uplifting stuff.
Excuse me. Do we have a beer one yet?
No.
Oh.
I posted a beer thing on my Facebook last night, and then I felt guilty about it. I have to figure out what my brand is. I don't know, because I don't know.
Go on.
It felt a little tasteless, actually, on the heels of Dak Shepard. Did you see what he posted, what he talked about on his podcast?
No.
Yesterday?
Dak Shepard has a podcast. Oh, Dak Shepard. Sorry. I was thinking Dak Prescott.
I know. I always confuse
Dax.
them. Yeah, I guess he...
Oh, yeah. He had a relapse. I saw that.
And he talked about it, again, really vulnerably.
Yeah.
And so that was sort of...
I love his podcast.
I love him. And Kristen Bell, because they are both so honest and vulnerable. Personally and like as their relationship. As individuals in a relationship. So I realized after I posted the hashtag 100 Happy Days challenge that I'm doing, because I accidentally found out the other night that there were 100 days left of the year.
2021.
And I came across, when I was looking for a photo for something, I came across an old challenge, 100 Happy Days challenge, because I have almost 3,000 photos on my phone.
That's a lot of photos.
So I have them from like 6 years ago. And I was like, oh, there's 100 days left of the year, 100-day challenge. So I'm doing it anyways. So last night, my, sorry, I have to keep my phone on because I need to know where our child is going. So last night, for my day number 3, I posted that my thing I was happy about was that you finally found Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Ale Pumpkin.
Yes.
Which we've been trying to get our hands on for like 2 years. And so that was my happy day. And then I felt a little weird about it because I posted about alcohol on the day when so many people were talking about people in sobriety.
Right.
So no, I haven't done a beer one yet. It was a really long way to get there.
That was a long way to get there. But I think we should do a beer inspired shirt or hat or something.
Okay. All right.
Because, hey, just the fact there we talked about it, sort of recognized that there's people struggling. I think that's good. You know, luckily, thank God, we don't have that sort of struggle, but people do, and we recognize it.
Okay.
But it's okay to enjoy life, enjoy things in life, like a tasty beer. Like
which was really tasty.
Kentucky Bourbon Pumpkin Ale, which I didn't have any. I had something else, but you enjoyed it.
Is that what it's called? It's called Kentucky Bourbon Pumpkin Ale?
I think so.
It's not barrel?
No, I think it's Kentucky Bourbon Pumpkin Ale. It's still brewed in bourbon barrels, though.
Okay. All right. That's not what we're talking about.
No, it's not.
Please don't do anything else.
Well.
Oh, God.
What do you mean?
Don't talk about other weird stuff right now.
No, other weird. I promise I won't talk about weird stuff. But did you know that Changing Perspectives is brought to you by BetterHelp.com? We don't have a choice on this one. And plus, it's our pleasure to be able to have BetterHelp as a sponsor for Changing Perspectives. You can find that at betterhelp.com. BetterHelp is an online counseling resource who makes professional counseling accessible, affordable, and convenient. They offer 4 ways to get licensed counseling through video sessions, phone call, live chat, and messaging. As everyone knows all too well, these are challenging times, and the broad expertise of the BetterHelp Counselor Network could provide anyone struggling with life's challenges the help they need, anytime, anywhere. Whatever struggles you're facing, whether it's depression, grief and loss, anxiety, BetterHelp.com can provide you the counselor that's the right fit. Visit BetterHelp.com/changingperspectives. After signing up, you will be matched with a counselor in 24 hours or less. Again, visit BetterHelp.com/changingperspectives. All right, everybody. We are talking today about a pop culture topic, something that became quickly probably one of our favorite shows, maybe top 3 or 4 of all time, but Schitts Creek. This is a Schitts Creek centric episode, Jenny. How excited are you to talk about that?
Marginally.
Okay, I wasn't expecting that response, but okay. Do you know what happened to Schitts Creek recently?
It swept the Emmys.
Pretty much. They earned a whopping 15 nominations this year for its 6th and final season. Schitts Creek was just unbelievable outcome at the Emmys. They won all kinds of stuff. We're going to go through what they won. But I am referencing a Pop Sugar article. So I have lots of different articles to share today. I guess with most of our pop culture centric episodes or TV movie episodes, we should say spoilers. Mm-hmm. Spoiler alert. If you haven't watched Schitts Creek, we highly recommend. And listen, Season 1 took us a little bit. It was a little bit slower at the beginning. Funny, smart, very well written, but a little bit slow. It took us a little bit to get into it, right, Jenny?
Right.
So,
but
what?
I don't know that we really gave it a fair chance. But it is different, right? It's different, and I think it's sort of like a little bit like The Office and Modern Family, where the humor is kind of nuanced, and so you have to be watching it. Like you can't be on your phone because a lot of the humor is like facial expressions and body language.
Yes.
And the humor sort of happens in the space between the lines.
Yes.
Norma Jean is with us. So you have to be fully present. And
right.
I don't think when we first started it, we were fully present.
So this aired originally on CBC television, which is in Canada. It's a Canadian television sitcom created by Eugene Levy. And for those of you who don't know Eugene Levy, you should. He is a comedic genius. In what was the
American Pie?
I wasn't even going to go there.
Oh.
Yeah, he's the dad in American Pie, but he was on SCTV. Yeah, the Canadian television sketch comedy, SCTV, and which has the likes of so many funny people: Dan Aykroyd, John Candy, Catherine O'Hara, Harold Ramis, Martin Short, Dave Thomas. So many like comic.
Like Wendy's Dave Thomas?
Yes. The burger guy was in SCTV along with Martin Short, Jenny. Oh, boy.
Maybe.
So Second City TV, SCTV network, that was his background, which is very cool, along with Catherine O'Hara. And he has done so many of those great mockumentary movies, such as Best in Show. What else? I forget. I'm drawing a blank right now.
I'm bad at that game.
But anyway, starring and created by Eugene Levy and his son Dan Levy, who is hilarious. But it follows the path, the trials and tribulations of the Rose family, who was super rich, famous, all the above. Eugene Levy plays the main character, Johnny Rose, and Catherine O'Hara plays Moira Rose, and Moira was a soap opera star, Moira. And Eugene Levy plays Johnny, who was a mogul, a business mogul. He had Rose Video, which I think is supposed to be akin to Blockbuster in their universe. And they, I think they were kind of screwed over by their financial guy, and they lost all their money. The only thing that they had, the only thing left was that they bought a town years ago as a joke, and the name of the town is Schitts Creek, and they have to move there. And then, following after that is 6 seasons of just funny, genius, sweet writing. And Jenny and I fell in love with it after the first season. So the co-stars along with Eugene Levy, we have Dan Levy as well, like I said, who plays David Rose, Annie Murphy, who plays Alexis Rose, Emily Hampshire plays Stevie Budd. She is the motel clerk who later becomes a motel owner. Jen Robertson, who plays Jocelyn Schitt, who's the mayor's wife, the mayor of Schitts Creek, who is played by the amazing, hilarious legend Chris Elliott, who is I feel like an unsung hero of this TV show. He's definitely like a supporting character, but he's hilarious in typical Chris Elliott fashion. Some of the other sort of main characters, you have Dustin Milligan, who plays Ted Mullins, who later becomes Alexis's love interest. Sarah Levy, Dan's sister, Eugene's daughter, who plays Twyla. And then one of my favorites, a gentleman by the name of John Hemphill, who plays Bob. I love Bob. Just a great cast of characters. Like, the cast of this show is hilarious. Very, 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 very talented group of people. So I can't say enough good things about Schitts Creek. Let's talk a little bit about what they were able to accomplish at the Emmys. I think it's so cool and so well deserved. And you see these days, I think you see shows that aren't on the typical networks, Jenny, like streaming options. And these shows have second lives through streaming.
What do you
mean? A lot of people don't find, we didn't find Schitts Creek until much later.
Right.
A lot of shows are like that. The Office is getting a significant resurgence right now because of streaming.
Oh, really?
Yes. We are watching a show, Episodes, which was originally a Showtime show, starring Matt LeBlanc, who plays himself. That's hilarious. We're enjoying that right now, but we didn't watch that initially. Excuse me. We had Showtime at the time, but it wasn't on our radar. But now it's on streaming on Netflix, and we can catch it. By the way, all 5 seasons.
No. The first 5 seasons.
First 5 seasons are available on Netflix. The 6th season you have to stream somewhere else. You can buy it on Amazon or some other service. But the 6th season is coming to Netflix soon, I think. But they won. Do you know how many Emmy Awards they won, Jenny? The other night?
27.
No.
4.
That would have been amazing. They won a record 9.
That's really a record?
Yeah.
Like for them, or that's a record for like what record?
Let's see. So at the Emmys, the Schitts Creek won the award for Outstanding Comedy Series, making it the first family sitcom to do so since Modern Family in 2014.
Oh, interesting.
And the entire Rose family, Eugene Levy, Dan Levy, Annie Murphy, and Catherine O'Hara, all won in their categories. All nominated and all won. And they managed to set the Emmy record with 9 wins, the number of awards won by a comedy in a single season. Such an amazing accomplishment for a great show. So 15 nominations for its 6th and final season, and they took away 9. And I think that the comedy world, the fandom, the entertainment world, I think all in sort of, I think they're all super excited. Like no one's like, oh man, I wish this show won instead. Oh, Schitt's Creek doesn't deserve that. I think everybody, Twitter was blowing up. We have all of our friends that like Schitt's Creek. We know that they were excited to see that. So it was really great. And Jenny, I don't know if you want to dive into this, but I think it means something else. In this day and age, when we see such, concerns with social inequities and social justice, and the message of Schitt's Creek in the LGBTQ community, and how much the show and the themes mean to that community, and seeing, I think all of the good things that they do for that community. And there's a bunch of awards they won. I forget where did I put that awards? Anyway, I think it just means something else too. In addition to it being such a great show and winning everything that it deserved, but seeing the message that the great message of hope and equality and inclusiveness that the show represents, I think that also won as well.
Yeah, I think the when you watch all 6 seasons and then you watch the documentary of the making of the final season, they address that. The cast addresses their sort of stance and their approach to having a primary character who is part of the LGBTQ community, and how much it meant to that community, and how truly supportive they are of that community. And so, yeah, I think it does mean something else that they swept the Emmys. I also think I was going to say, I wonder if it has something to do with sort of Canadian culture versus American, but I don't really know, actually. I don't know.
Do you mean like they're more accepting?
I assume they are, but I don't actually know that based on anything other than my time in Canada.
Right.
And that was just in one part of Canada, in Toronto. So I don't know, actually. I need to think about that a little bit more.
Eugene Levy also won a Lifetime Achievement Award. That was really great to see, and I'm trying to find it.
I thought we were going to talk about the funniest episodes.
We are. We're getting there. This is prep.
I thought we were doing a pint-sized.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
Well, we've only been talking for 10 minutes. We can actually a little longer.
It feels
than
like 5 hours.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't find the article. I thought I had it pulled up, but back in August, about a month before the Emmys, Eugene Levy won a Lifetime Achievement Award for his work, and it was really great to see. And a lot of his Schitt's Creek co-stars were supportive and super happy on Twitter and all over the social media, so it was cool to see. All right, Jenny, well, I did prepare anyway, a discussion about Schitt's Creek, and we want to go through this. So this is an article from popsugar.com. And it is the 10 Schitt's Creek episodes that are simply the best. Get it?
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
All right. And so should we get started? What do you think do you have something in mind that is your number one episode?
Actually, the episode that quote is taken from. If we're going to spoiler alert things, when Patrick performs that song, Simply the Best, for David at an open mic night, and they just sit in that moment. They play the whole song. I mean, they the producers, right?
Yeah.
They play the entire song, and it's all about the emotional response of like the townspeople and David's family and David and Patrick. And it's also a beautiful version of that song.
It is a great version.
It's a beautiful version of it. And so I think that's actually for me probably when the show flipped from being like funny to really tender and emotional and raw. And also funny, but like I think up until then, I had been thinking like, oh, this is a funny show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then I was like, oh, this is a real show.
This is a real show about real people and relationships
and real feelings.
and growth.
They're willing to like go to the like sort of awkward places that more shows might pull away from. So I would say that would be my favorite or my number one. What about you?
Well, as we go through this article, we'll see if that's on the list.
Okay.
I assume this made the
it's
cut,
number one if that's the name of it.
Well, I don't think these are in an order.
Oh, okay.
They're just listed. So the first episode they list is from season 1, episode 6, entitled "Wine and Roses."
Yes.
That's a hilarious episode. So this is the first season of Schitts Creek, and what's interesting is this article talks about how, actually what you and I were talking about, how the first season of Schitts Creek isn't home to what most fans call the best episode. It's clearly a show that's still finding its way. The comedy is a little sharper and meaner in its later seasons and more real and more focused on character development. But it talks about this episode being an early gem. Moira is approached to do a commercial for fruit wine and promptly melts down. That whole element of that wine that's based on fruit and how it's like disgusting. Mm-hmm. No one likes it is hilarious. Let's see. So David thinks he's dying, but realizes he's actually having a panic attack, and he accompanies Alexis to a super awkward yoga class, trying to relax.
I don't remember that part of it.
Yeah,
I don't think I was fully invested in the characters yet.
So that's the first episode in this 10 best episodes list. Let's see. So episode 2. Well, actually, the second episode is episode 2 of season 2, and that is Family Dinner, which is hilarious. This is when David and Moira decide to cook for the family.
Yes, and you fold in the cheese.
Fold in the cheese. No one realized how funny shredded cheese could be into this episode, is what this Pop Sugar article says. The enchilada scene alone is priceless, but the subplots, Johnny trying to find office space, that is hilarious, and typical town shenanigans, and Alexis making a major romantic decision between Ted and Mutt. Pretty great character beats as well. We didn't really, when I was going through the characters at the beginning, we didn't really talk about Patrick, who's played by Noah, oh boy, forget the actor's name. I'll get there. Give me a second. Noah Reed. And Karen Robinson, who plays Ronnie. She's a member of the town council. She's hilarious, very funny. Okay, Jenny, let's go to the next episode. This is from season 2, episode 13, Happy Anniversary. I love this episode. It's when they throw an anniversary party for Johnny and Moira. It's the last episode of season 2. Do you like this episode? Do you remember this one?
Yeah, I think that this was also a little bit of a turning point too. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. This is like
a turning point for us, and that like, okay, I'm in. Mm-hmm.
So Johnny and Moira's anniversary dinner gets accidentally crashed first by a couple they knew in their old life. Then they get crashed by Roland and Jocelyn. So it's this very cool, funny, and real juxtaposition, right? Of Johnny
that's
and
that
Moira's,
episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Johnny and Moira's old life and new life coming together, and they're trying to fit in between. You just said
old, like in like
Ode.
Like Dance Moms. Like who's that? Abby
from Ohio.
Abby Lee Miller. Yeah, you just said old like they do in I guess it's an Ohio Midwestern thing.
I'm not from that area of the world.
Okay.
In any way, shape, or form. But they're sitting there literally in between their old life and their new life. And their old life sort of rich friends come in, and they end up like making fun of the town.
Right.
Not even realizing where Johnny and Moira ended up or what their connection is. And Johnny, Eugene Levy, has this moment where he sits there and defends Schitts Creek and defends the town and defends Roland and Jocelyn and what their life is now. And it's really sweet and real. And then they ended up celebrating at a party in a barn, and it ended that season really, really great. And for me too, I think that was like, oh yeah, this is a good show. Let's keep going. We binged it as quickly as we could.
Right.
Try to fit it in our crazy life. But yeah, that was a great episode. Good way to end that season. Okay, next from season 3, episode 8. This is Motel Review. That's the name of the episode. And then this episode, it is, what's the episode recap? I apologize. I don't see it in front of me. Oh, so this episode is when Johnny is secretly writing Alexis's paper. So she goes back to school. David falling to bits when he has to actually articulate details of a plan, but their discomfort is our joy. Everyone actually learns something by the end. Let's see. This is the episode that introduces viewers and David to handsome businessman Patrick, launching a fan favorite storyline. So this is the episode where we get to meet Patrick, who ends up becoming the love interest of David. We talked about our favorite TV couples a few episodes back, and if you guys remember, David and Patrick were for sure on our list, and on the list of the article that we were reading. All right, you ready to move on to the next episode?
Yes.
Episode 13 from season 3. This is Grad Night. Oh, this is cool. So the Rose siblings hit major milestones in the sweetest way in this episode, but not without some bumps along the way. Alexis is ready to finally graduate from high school, so she goes back to school to get her GED so she can go to college. But it seems like Moira is more interested in her Jazzagals performance. So she's in a cappella singing group, which is in and of itself hilarious element of the show. And the article says, in a 16 Candles-esque plot, it seems like everyone's forgotten David's birthday. But the episode's sweet denouement in which Alexis gets some surprise support and David finds himself on a surprise date is incredibly emotionally satisfying. Moira surprises Alexis at the graduation by bringing the Jazzagals to the graduation to perform in honor of the graduates and Alexis, which is really, really, really sweet.
Right.
If you getting a theme of at least this article, and I think Jenny and I's feeling about the show as well, that the best episodes are these sweet, tender moments. Tender
moments, right? Yeah. That are kind of surprising too, because I feel like Moira is not exactly a warm, fuzzy parent, and often seems very aloof and disengaged from her children. And so that was a really it would have been believable for her to miss Alexis's graduation. And so it was really great to sort of see her become less cold and become more vulnerable.
Absolutely.
And real as a parent. And
then there was I don't know if it was before or after. I think it must have been before that. There were some episodes that indicated that showed us the different relationship between Moira and her two kids. The relationship she has with David is much closer,
right?
Stronger, and there was episodes that depicted, Alexis trying to have lunch with. There was like this. They're going to go out to lunch. They didn't know what to say to each other because their relationship was so different than David's.
Right.
So then to have that happen and then see this episode where Moira is showing so much love and support of Alexis is really cool.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Okay. Here it is, Jenny.
What?
Here's your episode.
Oh.
It's called Open Mic.
Mm-hmm.
That's the name of the episode. It's from season 4, episode 6. And this is it. So at first glance, it's a classic 3-pronged episode of Schitts Creek. Alexis tries with hilariously mixed results to wrangle Johnny and Stevie in rebranding the motel, while Moira accidentally becomes the secret keeper about the sex of the Schitts' new baby. David is wary of Patrick's idea to bring business to the store. So David had, I love that whole storyline. David opens up a store in Schitts Creek, which is, I want to go to that store and buy stuff there.
I know.
Like coffee, wine, candles. It sounds like you and I's type of store. 100%. The episode's last scene featuring a sweet acoustic cover of Tina Turner's Simply the Best, which has turned into an iconic episode and a reminder of the show's perfect blend of salty and sweet. That's a great way to describe that. But there it is, Jenny. I asked Jenny what her favorite episode was before we read this article, and that was it. And so there we go. I think that might be my favorite episode as well. It's so sweet. And you also notice towards the end of that episode, while Patrick is singing, not only do you see David's reaction and how much he's in love with Patrick, but you saw Moira as well.
Right.
And I think someone tried to talk to her right during that end, and she was like, my son is being serenaded by his love. Please shut up, or something. It was really sweet that she was so into that. All right, I don't know how many episodes are left. I think we're getting towards the end here. Season 4, episode 12 is next. Singles Week. This was a good one too.
Also tender.
Yes, very tender. Season 4 was the year where Schitts Creek began leaning hard into being less of a fish out of water comedy and more of a family comedy with a side of rom-com. The season finale in particular is pure rom-com joy. Alexis' first big PR event, because that's her profession. She wants to be a PR professional. She launched a Singles Week event to attract tourism to Schitts Creek. And it's timed pretty badly, seeing as she just told her now taken ex-boyfriend that she's still in love with him. Meanwhile, Patrick drops the big L-bomb on David, who needs some time to react. The end of the episode ends with 2 swoon-worthy epic romantic moments packed with sincerity and emotion without losing that quirkiness that elevates the show above the rest. This is great. I'm enjoying this article more and more. I read each of these synopsis and review of the episode. I couldn't agree more with that description of that episode. What a great, sweet way to end that season. All right, Jenny. Let's see how many we have left. I think this is the last one, maybe. There's 2 more.
Maybe you should have prepped better.
I know. Where am I here? Okay, so Jenny, the next one is season 5, episode 11, Meet the Parents. That is a great episode. Another, again, sweet episode that's about the relationship. It says Schitts Creek doesn't do drama very often, but when it does it beautifully. As evidenced by this powerful episode, it starts out with a sitcom misunderstanding when David invites Patrick's parents for a surprise party.
Ah, yes.
But it takes a dramatic turn when it's revealed Patrick hasn't come out to them yet. So as Patrick worries about their possible reaction, David tries to help. The episode digs into some deep, gut-wrenching emotions before its conclusion. And it goes to a place where you didn't expect it to go. Do you remember this episode?
Nope.
We just assumed that Patrick's parents are going to have a problem with the fact that he's gay. And
yes, that's true.
We realized that they don't.
Right.
They're just more upset he didn't tell them.
Right.
One of the other things I really enjoyed about this episode that I thought was really sweet was Eugene Levy's character, Johnny Rose's dedication and love for his son. And you just saw that depicted in his whole attitude towards Patrick's parents and what they were all, and the audience was assuming what their reaction would be. It was really great. And I think the article does a great job of explaining that this is a real sort of dramatic episode. Starts out funny with this misunderstanding, but turns into this sort of gut-wrenching, very sweet, dramatic end with a really great scene between Patrick and his parents. It's really good.
Very, very sweet. Indeed.
Okay, season 5, episode 13 is the next episode. This one's entitled The Hike. And this is fresh. It says, fresh off one of the most dramatic episodes of the series comes one of the most epically emotional. I believe this is where
they get engaged.
Yes. Yeah. So David proposes to Patrick on a hike. It also says Johnny has a health scare, sending Moira and Stevie into a panic that shows just how much they really all do care about each other.
That's right.
Snark and arguments aside, let's talk for a second. I want you to talk about the relationship between Johnny and Stevie for a second.
Oh, that's a really sweet relationship. Go ahead. I think I brought it up actually on our relationship episode. I apologize. I'm still pretty froggy from allergies. It's really sweet because I don't think we ever find out anything about Stevie's background.
Just about
family,
her aunt, who
right?
Gifted the
Yeah, but I think we're to
motel
assume she doesn't really have any living parents. I don't know what her relationship is. She's pretty much like an island unto herself.
Yeah.
And so it's beautiful to see her develop this like father-daughter relationship with Johnny, which doesn't take away from Johnny's relationship with Alexis, right? Like
Not
there's
at all.
never any
Totally
jealousy
different.
or anything. It's just she becomes like this other daughter of the family, and really the tie there is between her and Johnny. Both ways, right? Like not only does she look up to him as a father figure, but he looks at her as if, like a proud father.
Yeah.
And so it's really sweet. And we see that kind of come out really clearly in that episode where she thinks that he might die.
Yeah.
And kind of grapples with the depth of her own emotions and connection to him.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And you see that, I think, played out in a few different episodes. In particular was when they were deciding on who was going to be the best man maid of honor to David.
Right. That's right.
It was between Alexis and Stevie.
And again, you assume that there's going to be some, conflict between Alexis and Stevie, and Alexis is going to be, that there's going to be like bad blood between them and tension, but there really isn't.
There really isn't. Yeah, no. It's really sweet. Okay, so next, this might be my second favorite episode. I think it was a season finale, season 5, episode 14, entitled "Life is a Cabaret."
Oh, also a really good one.
Really good. So they put on, as we talked about in previous episodes recently, I am a former thespian and a big fan of musical theater, and I love the show Cabaret. And they end up doing a production, a community theater production of Cabaret, of course, directed by Moira Rose, starring Patrick and Stevie, and they did a really great job. This particular episode was directed by Dan Levy. It's the season 5 finale, packed with classic Schitts Creek goodness, plus musical numbers. Stevie gets the chance to shine in the spotlight, while David and Patrick get frustrated when their news gets out before they have the chance to announce it themselves. So this is right after they got engaged. Alexis finds herself surprised at the idea that she might miss her family when she leaves for a trip, although it ends with a Moira-centric cliffhanger. For the most part, this episode is a triumphant, satisfying moment that shows just how much these characters have grown. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, it was nice to see these actors doing other things, such as dancing and singing. And we already saw in the open mic episode how talented Nora Reed is as a singer and guitar player. But then we get to see him dancing and singing in this episode as well as a character in Cabaret. And it's really fun. Really, really great way to end that season. Do you like Cabaret? Were you familiar with Cabaret before?
Just some of the songs, but I don't actually think that I've ever seen it.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. No, I don't. Wait, was Cabaret wasn't the one that was made into a movie in like the 90s or the 2000s, was it?
Boy,
with
I am drawing a blank.
Catherine Zeta-Jones?
Chicago?
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm.
That's Chicago.
I think I am.
But I want to say Cabaret was a film.
I don't know. Is that the one that's on Broadway? Well, nothing's on Broadway right now. That
it might be.
The girl from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Erica Jane, is in. Is that Roxy or is that Chicago? Who has Roxy?
Oh, boy. Roxy is Chicago.
Oh, then it must be Chicago. Yeah. So for some reason, Chicago and Cabaret are in my brain filed together. That happens sometimes.
No, I got to tell you, I agree.
It
is a movie from 1972.
Oh, no, but that's not the 90s.
Starring some people. Liza Minnelli. Yes. What's wrong with me? Bob Fosse directed, of course. Liza Minnelli. Yeah, now it's all coming back to me. There's a bunch of people listening to be like, hey, you idiots. The 1970s film starring Liza Minnelli. Yes. Cabaret was in the 70s. But we all think of Chicago. I think of Chicago for sure. Okay. Which is good. Jenny, that was the last one.
What do you mean that's good?
Like it was a good one. Good movie.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Not good that we think of that.
No.
I gotcha.
That was the last one.
Oh, all right.
The 10 episode review.
So, but I have a question for you. So I have wanted to go back and start it over again since we weren't really 100% invested at the beginning.
At least in season 1 anyway.
But you have been reluctant to do that. So I started doing it myself.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. The other night, there's not a lot of times where I'm home alone and I'm not working, but I found myself doing that the other day. Maybe it was Monday because I have Mondays off now. Mm-hmm. and the boys have school now, and you work. So it must have been Monday. I had like a half an hour, and I think I turned it on all by myself.
Did you like it?
Yeah, because I feel like I didn't really watch it.
Did you?
I wasn't fully invested in the characters or their story or like my commitment to it. And like I said, I think I was sort of probably scrolling through my phone while I was watching it the first time. So I tried to be really mindful about not having my phone on. And yeah, I think it's worth sort of watching again.
How far did you get?
Maybe the end of the maybe halfway into the second episode.
Okay.
I will restart it.
No, it's okay. I can just...
But I know that we are watching episodes, which also kind of started out the same way for me. Like, I'm not really invested, but now I'm in.
I will tell you that I wasn't reluctant to start it because I didn't want to. I just was interested to watch some new stuff.
Gotcha.
I'm also watching Boys right now on Amazon Prime, as well as The Watchmen. And I'm thoroughly enjoying both.
Okay.
By the way. All right. Anything else? Well, I'll join you on the rewatch for sure.
Okay.
I'm also doing the rewatch of The Office along with the Office Ladies podcast, which is a great show if you haven't checked that out. Not that they need our advertisement. They're doing fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else to add about Schitts Creek?
No, but if you haven't watched it, definitely watch it. And I guess realize that there is a 6th season, right? Because we were with friends a couple weeks ago and talking about Schitts Creek. And I will say a lot of our friends had been saying, like, you have to watch Schitts Creek. And we were like, yeah, I don't know. Nah. And then we were like, yeah, we're trying. It's not that funny. So now we're like, yeah, sorry, you were right.
Yeah, you were right. It is great. Sorry.
But she was talking the other night and she was like, I just wish it had ended differently and we had got to see like this part and this part and this part. And we both were like, wait
a minute.
There's a 6th season, right? And she was like, what? Yeah. I was like, yeah, so what's on Netflix is not the entire series. So you binge it on Netflix until the end of season 5, and then you have to purchase season 6.
Yes.
And so if, just keep that in mind that, because it could end, I guess. Like, I actually think probably every season, it could have ended at the end of that season.
Yeah. I mean, the
story
sort of
was kind of wrapped up.
Well, in the season 5, which is confusing because there's a cliffhanger for Moira.
Yeah, but series end with cliffhangers all the time.
They do.
But this series made a concerted or a deliberate decision to end before the story was done. Like they could have kept going. They were really kind of at the prime in terms of their viewership and sort of the love of the show. A lot of people had just kind of found the show, and they decided to end the show on a high, which was...
It's a tough thing to do.
Yeah, and I don't know what other shows probably have done that, but I guess it's better to do that than to like jump the shark and then kind of like The Walking Dead, right? Like the other day I was like, that show's still on. And also Grey's Anatomy, although I think there's a lot of Grey's Anatomy lovers out there, but I feel like that's on like season 59.
Yeah, we stopped a long time ago.
Yeah, but I guess I don't know, when do you end a show like that?
It's tough for me to watch a medical show.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's excruciating to watch a medical show with you.
I'm like, that's not true. That doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
Suspend disbelief.
Right. Mm-hmm. Exactly. All right. Well, watch Schitts Creek, everybody. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Before we end, I do have a new iTunes review to read, Jenny.
Oh, great. I'm so glad that Disc Jockey Josh is here.
I'm back. Hey. All right. Username Katie Girl. Caddy Girl. I'm going to say Katie Girl.
Spell it.
Katty Girl.
I think it's probably
Grrrr.
Caddy.
Caddy Girl. Anyway, I like your username. She writes, relevant topics. I enjoy the fact that these hosts are focusing on topics that are engaging and current. The hosts have a good chemistry, and the podcast was able to keep my attention. So thank you so much for that great review, that 5-star review. If you would like to hear your review read over the air, go ahead and submit one. We read all the new ones, so we really appreciate your support. And if you rate and review us on iTunes, that allows more people to reach Changing Perspectives. Any other thoughts, Jenny?
Nope.
All right. Well, everybody, that is going to do it for today. Thank you so much for listening. For today's show notes links, you can check out all those Pop Sugar articles that I read. You can check out Schitts Creek and IMDb. I'll drop some links in the show notes. Please follow us on Facebook, everybody, at Changing Perspectives Podcast, and on Instagram at Changing Perspectives Blog. Send us an email to our new email address at info@changingperspectivesonline.com. You can also visit that website by going to changingperspectivesonline.com. And while you're there, don't forget to visit the shop to check out all that great Changing Perspectives merchandise. Go ahead and subscribe to the show so you'll never miss an episode, and we will see you next time. Say bye, Jenny.
Bye, Jenny.
The Changing Perspectives podcast is produced, recorded, and edited by Dizzy Bird Studios. Copyright 2020. Please visit Dizzy Bird Studios on Facebook. Facebook.com/Dizzy Bird Studios.